Okay, now let's talk about inking and composition. There's some little things you can do to make your pattern stand out. For example, if you're creating a pattern with characters, animals, or objects with complex shapes, try to make their poses more dynamic by using the negative space between them to compose. What we're trying to accomplish is to make each element fit within each other. In this way, you create the illusion of an infinity pattern. But for now, I'm going to sketch out all my characters. I'm gonna try to create really simple but dynamic shapes. And I'm gonna try to use all the negative space between each character to create the next one. Always taking in consideration all the doodles we did before. At this point of the process, you don't really need to get too much into detail. So for now, I'm just trying to create really appealing but basic shapes. As you can see, I'm trying to focus on visualizing the gestures and poses that I want my characters to have. And at the end of the day, all of this sounds more confusing than it actually is. You just need to go with the natural flow of your drawing and let it tell you what shape and form you should draw next. Okay, now that I have my first rough sketches and that I have basic knowledge of what I want my characters to look like, I'm gonna start cleaning my lines. I just simply choose a brush with a flat color. I like to use one that has a little bit of texture. You guys will have all my tools attached to this course in case you want to use one similar, so don't worry about it. And I just simply choose my sketch layer and put it on at least 30% opacity. Then I just create a new layer and start cleaning my best drawing. Always trying to keep my inking really simple, because actually, depending on your printing size, some things may get lost, go unnoticed, or won't need that much detail. I especially take an effort to not lose that first flow that sketches always have, you know? Sketches always seem more fluent and dynamic. So, instead of focusing on detail, I prefer to focus on movement and expression. So by acknowledging my needs and the reality of what my printing is actually going to look like, I'm just gonna focus on drawing really simple shapes, really simple hair and hands. I'm not going to get too lost into detail because I really don't need to. Also, don't get discouraged if you don't get your lines correctly at the first try. As you can see, sometimes it takes me a couple of tries to get it right. It's a pretty normal process that sometimes you're not able to see on speed drawings or on over-edited process videos. I feel like sometimes we can be really hard on ourselves with digital media. I don't worry that much when I use traditional tools, so I should feel the same with my tablet and my pen. I really don't know where that feeling of frustration comes from. Okay, now getting back into topic, I would like to point out that even though we are drawing human forms, I feel like sometimes it's better when we exaggerate, even if it's not anatomically correct, you know? Like if you look at her, you will notice that her pose is quite exaggerated, especially her shoulder. But I feel like in this way it's more interesting to look at. I feel like you shouldn't feel restrained by knowledge. Anatomy should not be a prison, it should be a guidance. And I don't know if it has happened to you before, but sometimes when I use a photo as a reference and follow it completely, I feel like my drawing looks kinda stiff. I believe that's because there's some things that need a little bit of a push to be translated correctly into a drawing. Things that may work for a photograph but not on paper. Okay, now as you see, for some of the bigger shapes, I'm just drawing really rough lines, and when I finally get the one that I like, I just clean it up. I try to not overdo the cleaning process because sometimes sketchy lines are better at suggesting a form without that much of an effort. And that's basically it, guys. Now all I need to do is repeat this process for all my different sketches. One extra piece of advice I can give you is to always remember to keep everything on different layers. As you can see, I have tons of layers for pretty much everything, and I always try to make copies in case I mess up one of them, especially for my ink and color layers. Okay, now all I have left is to paint the rest of my sketches. I will leave you with a quick time lapse so you can see the rest of the cleaning process for this particular piece. While you see it, try to recognize the concepts and techniques I've explained earlier on this course.